God and earth, creation of the earth. One day God thought and said, I want to create living beings, but they will not be able to live because they are only stones. So God made the earth from Irina's body. Irina was a very fat girl who could not walk. God said, I am going to create living beings. So God decided to go visit the Tapir family for their daughter, Irina. But to convince them, he told Nadama, Irina's mother, I'm going to do a great ceremony, and I have come to invite you. But I need you to take the girl to the ceremony. There I will heal her so that she can walk. Although it was not easy to convince them at first, but in the end they accepted the invitation. She went to the ceremony and took her daughter Irina to the ceremony. But when Irina fell to the ground during the ceremony and died, her mother and grandmother cried a lot and got terribly angry with God and said, You are a liar. You deceived us. That is why we didn't want to come. But God consoled them by telling, and he told them that Irina is not dead. She is alive. And I promise you that she will be in many people, and many people will be born from her, said God. But the mother and grandmother did not believe and left incredible sad. But God had to keep his promise. That is why God formed white people from Irina's body. In the same way, it happened with her sister Salkolo. That after she died, a tree sprouted from her stomach. But God did not like this tree because it grew a lot and it was destroying the house. For that reason, he had it cut down. When he cut down the tree, its flowers floated in the sea, and from these flowers white people were born. To give them wisdom, God gave them the intelligence of a spiritual being called Zini, who has the figure of a man and also an ant. This being walked for the first time on the newly made earth, and from the dust that fell from its feet the limpable ants were born. These ants quickly began to cut the leaves of the tree to build their house, to make their paths, and leave the place where they live exceptionally clean. Sometimes their load is greater than their body. But those ants are always working hard and without resting, and they keep all their work in order and clean. One day God saw that ants were good workers, and they work hard and keep all their road and house exceptionally clean. God loved the work of ants. One day God saw that his garden plants and paths were dirty, and asked the ants to clean them. God ordered the ant to do them well, but these ants, instead of obeying God, dedicated themselves to destroy the crops, the trees, and orchards until they left everything as a desert. When God saw those that the ants destroyed all his crops, garden plants, big orchards and trees, and many other plants and trees more, and that did not please him. So God thought to eliminate all the ants and leave only the white people to live, because they were not destroying the plant and they were taking care of the plant, and they had planted the new plants, and that pleased God. God was terribly upset and said, "Ants, you will not longer inherit the land that I had promised you, that if you took good care of and cleaned the land and nature. On the contrary, I will find a way to make you all disappear." Faced with threat from God, the ants decided to protect themselves and built a huge house in which they could hide. In there they began to eat the plants, crops, and animals that passed by there. When God realized that the ants hid and began to eat the crops and animals that passed by there, and that made God even angrier. God did not like what the ants were doing, so he sent for a giant and his huge dog to be found in a town called Shagicha to eliminate all the ants. The ants were so big that they had to tie them to the trunk of a tree. God asked the giant to destroy all the ants, and he destroyed all of them. All the ants were eliminated, and God left only white people to live. God commanded white people to take care of nature and animals and plant trees again that the ants had destroyed. So they began to work as God commanded them to do, and did everything God told them to do. God saw the work that they did, and he saw that they did great work. So God was pleased with them for the work that they did. After several months that the ants were destroyed, God remembered Irina's family, and he decided to go to visit them. But when he arrived at Irina's family home, there was no one. God returned sadly to his home because he did not find Irina's funny. God felt guilty because he was the one who asked her mother to take her daughter to the ceremony, and Irina died there. End of the story.